It's a very, very significant, beautiful question. She's asking, all the scriptures and Mahatmas are talking about renunciation. The inner renunciation is okay, but the physical basic necessities, and she is using the word physical comforts. How much we can renounce, because many teachers speak about many things. What can we do? This is the question. First of all, we have to understand that the body needs certain comforts. Certainly it needs. It is a very complex subject in the sense certain people are born in certain places and they are used to certain kind of life, so they can very easily live like that. Naturally, certain people, their life is very, very, very minimum. Very minimum things, with very minimum things they can live. But that itself is not spirituality. So these things a person has to find out in his life. It is not of great importance at all. The most important thing, the basic thing, first step as a sadhaka, sadhana is important. See, for a sannyasi also, they say he has to wander about. They say parivrajaka. And he has to take bhiksha. And the other thing is, if sannyasi is a sadhaka, upasaka, his main aim should be sadhana. The japa, anushtana, study, all these things. For a Siddha Purusha, it is different. But if he gives more importance to this outer bhiksha and outer renunciation, and by that process, he spoils his body and mind gets scattered in that, he will not have time to do spiritual practice. So the most simple thing from Bhagavad Gita I am taking, Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. You should be able to get absorbed in your sadhana without any outer obstacle. That much of comforts are needed for him. If sometimes if you give unnecessary comforts, your sadhana will get affected. Comforts should not become, suppose you have mobile, too much you are addicted to it. That is not a comfort. Sometimes it might be a need, necessity. But you get addicted to it day and night, you are looking at it, then that becomes a great obstacle for your spiritual life. But you need a room, a house to stay, an arrangement for food. Practically, many Mahatma sadhus also say, we need a bank account. A little bit of money is needed so that we need not depend on anybody. Have our own food arrangement and we will do sadhana. Such people are there. They are not asking money from anyone. I know some great sannyasis and sadhus who formerly were householders or were working people. They have their own money, financial arrangement. They don't take money from anybody. They are comparatively very free people. That they utilized it for their sadhana. Not depending on anyone. A little bit of financial arrangement is there. That is enough for them. They don't ask money from anyone. They don't go to another person for their need. All their time they spend in spiritual practice. So that is very important. So anything that will help your bhakti or yoga sadhana or shastra adhyayana, comparatively the goal is freedom. So anything that will help your freedom is good. But it should not become too much comfort seeking, getting addicted to comforts. Then that itself will hurt. So that much of necessary things that you see, some in Mahapurusha's life also you can see, for some period they will be in completely that Tivra Vairagya, without money, without food, wandering about. But it's always, the body cannot stand that long. It's always for a certain period. After that, Bhagavan will make some arrangement. Ishvara will make some arrangement where they will stay in that Atmanishta, because the body needs a certain protection. If that you already have, you need not seek others. But in intense Vairagya, you have given up everything and you don't care about anything and move about. Then it is his duty to look after you, and he will also make some arrangement by which the body is taken care of. But when you do sadhana, you have some arrangement. You need not think about it. You don't need to think about making more money. It's all over. Then we need not convince others about our renunciation. Yes, let it remain there. You turn yourself completely to spiritual sadhana. So that much outer renunciation we are talking, that much outer renunciation is good, because renunciation of things, renunciation of materials, it is to make you free from too much thinking about them. So those things need to be renounced. And ultimately, the greatest renunciation is renunciation of this Jiva Bhava. As someone asked Bhagavan, should I not renounce all my possessions? Bhagavan said, the possessor too. That is the subtlemost thing. The ego has to be renounced. The mind has to be renounced. The greatest renunciation comes from what we spoke today. When you see that everything is God, everything is Brahman, there is nothing to renounce. Tyagah prapancha rupasya brahmatmatva avalokanat tyago hi mahatam pujyah sadyo mokshamayo viduhu. Shankaracharya says the greatest tyaga is to see everything as Brahmatma, to see everything as Brahman. Instantaneously it makes you free. Sadyo moksha. Now here you become free. Because there is nothing to renounce, he alone exists. So the outer renunciation should be done intelligently. One person, Bhagavan told, he asked Bhagavan about renunciation. Bhagavan told, you have to renounce everything. Only that much Bhagavan told him. There was one person, some name he had, but he was called as Mr. Nair. We don't know what happened to him. He went to his house, threw away everything from his house. Lot of money he had. He used to give money to whoever, the poor people around Ramanacharana. In those days, he tore all his money. And almost like an eccentric, he started running here and there. And one day he fell into the well also. And some devotees pulled him out and brought him to Bhagavan. Bhagavan, already they informed Bhagavan what has happened to him. In the name of renunciation, he gave up everything, threw away all his money, everything. Then Bhagavan asked him, why are you doing this? He was in an eccentric mood. With bloodshot eyes, he was looking at Bhagavan. You only told me to do that. Bhagavan said, did I tell you? You told that person. I told him, not you. I told him, not for you. See, such eccentricity is very destructive. It is so. I've chosen one word from Bhagavad Gita. What is sadhana? Is Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. You should be able to steadily do your spiritual practice. That needs lot of patience. That needs lot of renunciation. Because what will you renounce? You have lot of time from morning to night. That time maximum you should be able to spend spiritually. And then naturally you will renounce all non-essential things. And this outer renunciation of giving up a house, giving up a family, that happens when the divine decides that a certain person has to do it. And somebody asked Bhagavan, you teach us that you need not renounce, but why did you renounce? Bhagavan said, the force that pulled me, if it has also pulled you, you will not be asking this question. It will happen. So that is an entirely different thing. The outer renunciation cannot happen by human decision. If it happens by human decision, it will fail. So the true renunciation, we can, even after outer renunciation, the person the body has its limitations. Every body is different. So there cannot be a common law. So each one has to struggle to find the order in which he will fit into. People will have many things to say. Somebody came to Tiruvannamalai and went back to Kanchipuram. And Kanchi Shankaracharya, Chandrasekharendra Saraswati, with great reverence, he asked, where have you been? He said, I have been to Tiruvannamalai. And Paramacharya asked him, Variyavala Patya. That is the common usage traditionally. Did you see the great one? Yes, Bhagavan. Did you see Bhagavan, Maharshi? He said, Padam. I saw so. There was some irreverence. Then he asked, what happened? He is eating Italy. The great mistake that he found. See, because traditionally they will not eat this fermented things. So that was a great mistake that he found. He is eating idli. So renunciation has its own, they have their own concepts about renunciation. So, jnanam sannyasa lakshanam. True renunciation means there should be jnanam. Atma jnanam. This outer renunciation, even though people have renounced everything, taken to ochre robes, But if they are not able to pursue this spiritual path, study the scriptures, at least do bhakti sadhana, then that is no use. Because these beggars are also renunciates. They do not have anything. But that is not the renunciation. So renunciation is simplicity. It is utter simplicity. The intelligence will tell us that the more simple we become, the more our mind need not think. It's in a way, sannyasa means order. Samyak nyasaha. Nyasa shabdaha na nikshepartaha tyagartaha, says Shankaracharya in one place. But nikshepartha is also there. Nikshepa means putting it in order, keeping it in the right place. Ramakrishna used to say, if you keep the umbrella in one corner, every day you keep the umbrella there, so that you need not think about the umbrella. You can naturally go there and take it and go. So you need not think about anything, because put everything in the right place, that putting everything in order. The meaning of renouncing, a man has to give up the woman has to move away from man because it makes you think. Money you have to give up because it makes you think. But without money, without a family, without things, people cannot live. Means you have to find the order, that's all. That we have to struggle. That needs intelligence. Otherwise, somewhere we will do too much. Somewhere we will not do enough. Both will create problem. And to find the order, the right amount, one has to meditate a lot. Not only meditate on the self, meditate on one's life also. Take things into stock and contemplate about them. And what is the path for me? You have to churn it out and be clear about everything. See, I had a great ideal of renunciation long back. Like Ramakrishna's renunciation, not touching money, many things. That was always there with me. So even while I am I was going for the talks, first I decided I will not take money. Then Lakshmana Mama was there. He was like a good guide for me. He was a great tapasvi. He told you should not be like that. See, if you say I will not take money, you have to live in donation. That will be great sin. Is it? You do something comes to you, live with that. Don't ask for anything, don't ask for any amount, don't ask for anything. Whatever comes, be happy. So that way, it was after a certain stage, some devotees are always there with me. Vishwanathan was there, somebody was there. So they will use the money, they will put it, whenever needed, they will give to someone. I will not even look into it, how much is there. How much they are giving, how much is there in it. I will not even look. Because your necessities are fulfilled. Whatever is needed is being done. So there is a higher force which is looking after. So this Lakshmana Swami, he was living in his pension. He worked in railways and he had his pension. Before in that period he had lot of contemplation whether to take sannyas. At that time he decided, if I take sannyas, I should not use this pension. That is what many people say. Then what will I do? I have to ask money from others or live in others' money. That I cannot do. Then I cannot cook. I have to search for another cook. Because sannyasa means you should not touch fire, you should not cook. So you should live in bhiksha. That becomes a great problem. That I cannot do. So my main purpose is this japa, dhyana, anushtana, which can happen peacefully only if I cook. I live with what I get free. Freedom is the thing. So he decided, he himself named himself, he found from somewhere from Shastra, he said it belongs to Atyashrama. Actually, sannyasa is Satyashrama. And regarding cooking also, many sannyasis says, for very famous people, other people will give food. We are not famous, we are doing sadhana somewhere and nobody is giving us food, we have to cook. And bhiksha is not suiting because people will give all kind of bhiksha. If you go for bhiksha, you will become a worldly people. In Rishikesh, they say, go for bandar, you lose your sadhana. Because very, very rich food and they will give some bag, some money, some juice, what they call Coca-Cola, etc. They will give. Some chocolate they will give, laddu, Mysore. And this bhiksha will certainly harm your spiritual life. So many sadhus, they say, we just have some roti or some dal or some rice. Happily we can have Vedanta, Shravana, Dhyana. So that helps. So this Lakshmana Swami used to say, more than bhiksha vritti, swayampaka vritti is great. This is swayampaka vritti means you cook your food and eat. That is greater than bhiksha vritti. So bhiksha, people now only say bhiksha. We come to our house for bhiksha. Bhiksha means what? A big leaf full of items. That is not bhiksha. And Bhagavan used to take bhiksha everywhere in Tiruvannamalai. In his hand he used to take Karatala bhiksha. And later on, that cannot be continued always. Especially when a person becomes a great acharya, known to everybody, then people will pull them. So that also becomes difficult. So the ashram arrangement was needed. In ashram arrangement also, the bhiksha becomes difficult. There were great difficult things happening around. So the sadhaka has to find out. That is why Bhagavan allowed all his direct disciples to go out and take bhiksha. Because if they are given food in ashram, their sadhana will not go. Because ashram food at that time, sometimes there will be samaradhana. Big bhiksha. Bhagavan used to say, if we eat like this, we don't need a writing desk. Our tummy itself is the desk you can write. So that is not helpful. So one day I told this Lakshmana Swami that Ramakrishna, Jesus Christ has told that you can make a camel enter a needle hole, but a rich person cannot enter, a wealthy person cannot enter the kingdom of God. You can put a camel, in fact what I told him is, you can put a camel into a small hole, but a wealthy person, a person who depends upon his own money cannot enter the kingdom of God. He said, you bring a camel and there are many holes in this house. Any hole the camel will enter, because the Mariyappan is such a contractor that created such a house. The person who constructed the house, he said everywhere there are big, big holes and every camel can enter the hole. And said, doesn't matter. People will say. So, the renunciation is jnanam. Jnanam is renunciation. Realization is renunciation. The outer giving up, outer ideals are all some romantic things which people have created around spirituality. When intelligence comes, naturally renunciation will come. When jnana comes, naturally you don't need anything. Yavat bhriyeta jataram tavat swatvam hi dehinam. As Bhagavata says, by that much, what quantity my stomach is full, that much alone is mine. The rest does not belong to me. Anyone can use it. Anyone can have it. This is the ideal. That much renunciation is enough for sadhana. Your sadhana should not get affected by your comforts or luxury or even renunciation. That is it. Simple. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala.